Are we gonna go for the G? Ooh, there's a G.
Yeah, I think I might make it this time.
You think so?
I mean, no, but
Okay.
try.
Let's go for the G. Halfway.
Oh. That's the closest I've also got.
We got it.
Kind of.
Okay, I'm gonna say that's halfway through the G.
It's nice with a smaller glass.
It's
Much easier with a.
It is slightly. It's slightly small.
There.
It is a slightly smaller glass. This is the Dublin part of our trip.
The words part. So we left the house around 5 on the 24th. We got to the airport. We got through security pretty fast. We had a beer. Part of that you spilled upon yourself, and then we got the flight left almost right exactly at 9 p.m.
Yeah, one of the fabulous things that happened was when we went to check in our bags, we asked if we could get some better seats, and they gave us an entire row to ourselves.
Yep.
For that part of the trip. So that was 9 hours with 4 seats in the middle of the plane that were all ours, which were great.
Yeah. So landed around 1:30, something like that, and then just popped out of the Dublin airport. Super easy.
We stopped and had a coffee. Then we went to the Dubliner, or the Dublin Express.
Yeah. So hopped out, got on the bus, took the bus in to Dublin. Super easy and fast. Got off the bus we were supposed to. Took a quick walk. I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 something minute walk to our hotel, the Ruby Molly, and checked in, which was also super easy.
Yeah. Yeah, we got there. We were a little tired, so we hung out for a short period of time. Did a talking head there that we may or may not use.
Okay, let's go to the bar.
Let's go to the bar. So we started with a drink of the Ruby Molly because...
If you refuse turn-down service on a daily basis, they give you a free drink. So we did that immediately because that's the right thing to do.
Right.
Because we're saving the planet.
That's right.
So we did that, and then we rallied, and we found a place nearby called the
Church Cafe and Bar. That's... Which, foreshadowing, at some point somebody told us we should have gone upstairs. So next time we go, we'll go upstairs.
Go upstairs.
Always go upstairs, which we will talk about later on.
So I had a Guinness, and you had an Open Gate IPA, and the place was beautiful, just spectacular.
It was pretty cool. I mean, it looked like a church, felt like a church.
Hey.
And yeah.
It was great. I'd go back there. But then we needed food, so we it was suggested to us that we go to O'Neill's, and we discovered that it wasn't far from where we were, and so we went to O'Neill's.
And we spent a solid amount of time there, and the whole time we were there, we were sitting there listening to some music, having some beers. Kay got a shepherd's pie, and I got a Guinness stew, which was also really good.
So good.
And then we're like done, and we're like, oh, hey, there's stairs upstairs. And we went upstairs and realized that all the music we've been listening to was being done live upstairs.
Yeah. Always go upstairs.
Always go upstairs. Yeah.
I really fucked it up this time. Didn't I, my dear? Wow, that's cool too. What? Your own neck. Best of life is lived quietly, where nothing happens but a calm journey through the day. And we went back to Ruby Molly after that, after doing a bit of a wander.
No. We went to the Porterhouse. And the most memorable thing about the Porterhouse, they were kind of closing down a little bit, but there was the massive amounts of copper.
They have so much copper. It seems like a questionable maintenance material choice.
And there was just somebody sitting there shining copper, like the entire time we were there.
There was also live music at that bar.
Yeah, but they were just finishing when we showed up. Yeah. Got it pointed at you.
So right, we did that, and then we went back to the hotel bar. Met some dental students who were going to be tooth doctors.
Tooth doctors?
Yeah. And chatted a lot with the staff. They were very nice, which was really lovely. And then that was about it.
Yeah, we gave a pendant and a keychain to the guy behind the counter. Then the next day, when you were down working, he came over and gave us a bottle opener where he had written Ruby Molly on it, which was pretty adorable. Pretty much that was the 25th, which... So, round one of Kay finds places to stay in wherever the fuck we're going. I would give this a 17 out of 17 stars. So, yeah, that's pretty good, I think.
26. We woke up. We slept. We woke up.
Then we found out that the Ruby Molly has amazing showers.
Yeah, it's pretty good shower.
Like phenomenally amazing showers. Like that was a good way to start cleaning during the trip. Walk into coffee. Because we need coffee.
Finally. Found a couple coffee shops. Tried to go to a coffee shop. Accidentally went to the coffee shop next door. Then went to the coffee shop that was the right coffee shop, bought coffee,
right.
Had snacks. And we were on our way to Jameson. That is accidental coffee number 1, achieved.
And intentional coffee.
Number 2.
And coffee beans.
Achieved. Okay, puppies. Oh, that's super cool. I got distracted by the cool things.
We actually stopped and went to St. Patrick's Cathedral first.
Oh, we did, that's true.
Because we realized that we had enough time. We had enough time when we decided to go to St. Patrick's Cathedral. And so we wandered in. This was one of those amazing experiences where we walked in. We had an audio tour because we had a pass for Dublin to do this type of stuff. So we had the audio tour. And then we decided, then somebody was talking. There was a tour guide who was talking about stuff.
Yeah, and she was very friendly and just kept saying whenever we passed her that it's a free tour and we could join if we wanted to. So eventually we did. And that was the right choice.
It was the right choice.
Had a really nice time. She was really lovely. We learned many things.
And then we left there and realized that we only had like 20 minutes to go 18 for an 18-minute walk and rushed to the Jamesons.
Yeah.
So.
We got there just in time to order a drink and sit and wait.
Right. It was a hurry up and wait situation.
Yeah, it's nice they give you a beverage when you show up for the tour. So you go up and like they corral everyone in a room and you get either a shot of whiskey or a cocktail or a non-alcoholic beverage.
They got the cocktail.
It was delicious.
Which was a ginger something or other, right?
Good.
Yeah. And I just got the Jamesons, of course. Then we went through the tour. The tour was really good. It was a lot of fun.
Fast. Like 45 minutes or so?
Yeah, and it was more, it's, after doing a tour in Scotland, I would say it's less of a tour and more of an experience, which is what they call it.
That is what they call it.
Because it's very much like a storytelling thing. They have a lot of project mapping that they do in various places.
Projection mapping.
Projection mapping, thank you. Sorry. They do projection mapping. So they have all this stuff where they do these things, and so it's kind of a show.
Yeah, that tech is sick.
Yeah, that you go through, but then they do a tasting at the end of it.
Yep, which was nice.
Yeah, they gave us 3. They gave us like a standard Jameson, a distillery edition, and a black barrel. Is that right?
I think that's right.
So Kay found that she really liked the black barrel.
Yep.
Jameson's, Yellow Spot, Middleton, Redbreast, and Powers are all distilled at the same place. As such, all of them were for sale and for tasting at the Jameson. So I did a Redbreast tasting because yum. See, they learned these things.
Right.
So
And
you
they're
do
not
this.
legs in whiskey, they're tears.
They're tears. Also, when you smell, you're supposed to smell with your mouth open because that helps get rid of the ethanol faster. There's a reason why that is my favorite whiskey. It's my favorite Irish whiskey, anyway.
Ooh. Smooth. Yeah. Chocolate.
So, yeah.
To the Epic Museum, which is the Irish Immigration Museum, which was spectacular. I would go back there in a heartbeat. I would spend an entire day there. It was just so well designed. It's one of the best museums I think I've ever been to in terms of the use of technology, the way you're moved through the spaces, staff, the stories, like the way that they like the first bit's pretty rough because of all of the people who've left Ireland for so many reasons for centuries. At some point, it sort of flips around. And like, look what they've done, and it was really cool. I really enjoyed that museum a lot.
I really liked that the one of the staff came down and was talking about how the space that it was in was historic, so they couldn't actually attach anything to the walls. So she said they built it all like an IKEA.
Oh, right.
Where like everything was flat packed, comes in, and like you can basically, they use the floors of course, but they built around everything else. So, and even the floors, they just rested on the floors and made floors for inside there, which is just, the space it was in was the only fireproof storage facility left in Dublin.
Oh.
That was, they originally had made a whole series of them, and it was the only one made. So
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. Five stars. So good.
Yeah, highly recommend the Epic Gallery, our museum.
You're doing great. You're doing great. You're doing great. Yeah.
So yeah, after we finished that, Kay wanted to go to a place called the Harbor something.
Harborside, I think.
The Harborside, but on the way out of the Epic, we found that there was a brewery right next door to the Epic.
Yep, Urban Brewing.
That was actually in the same space, same type of space. So it was like right next door to it and in the same kind of underground facilities.
Yeah, kind of like underground cavey, bunkery kind of.
Right. We walked in and somebody told us that we should go downstairs.
That was our first time there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And she was right. It was really cool to go downstairs.
Yeah, the beer and the food was
All right.
it was all right, but the environment was really cool.
The ambiance.
The ambiance was really on point. And then after we finished that, Kay still wanted to go to the Harbor Master, which was the name of the place across the street, which was just like across the street from where we from this. So we went to the Harbor Master and had another beverage there.
Yep. And that's a beer.
That's a beer. And then we went home to the Ruby Molly.
Yeah.
God, I've said it right 3 times. That's amazing.
It is amazing. Yeah, did that. Had to do a little bit of work, so grabbed our computers and went to the bar. Grabbed a beer. That's when the bar staff gave us a little gift. They were very nice. That place was spectacular. And then there was a pub around the corner. After we did enough work, we went to the pub around the corner where we immediately ran into an entire gaggle of people from Vancouver, Washington, my hometown. It was super bizarre.
That was really, really weird.
Like a lot of them, like 8.
Yeah, right. We went to Slattery. It was called Slattery's.
Yeah.
And we went there because one of the reasons we went there because it was close. Second, it said that it had the best Guinness pour. It said it had the best pints in Dublin, which of course in Dublin apparently means Guinness. So it was pretty good Guinness.
We decided that wasn't sufficient. So found a bar that was open later, Riot.
Oh my God, I totally forgot about that. That was the night.
That was the night we went to the Riot.
Right.
So I walked across the river, found this club. They had a sign that said, their tip jar said, we will take tips to buy dildos and boob jobs so we can go fuck ourselves. I thought that was really our kind of vibe. It was fun. That was a fun place. There's a lot of good people watching. There may or may not be an Iron Monkey sticker somewhere in there.
Maybe. Mm-hmm. Maybe. Yeah, that was the place where there was the mullet afro with steampunk goggles, which was just like the weirdest combination of, it was a good people watching spot to go for a minute.
It really was. And it was just all sorts of people, which was what I really liked. Like it was all ages. There were all sorts of people on the dance floor downstairs. It was, didn't feel sketchy. It was like skeezy. It was cool.
No, but it certainly still felt punk rock. And it was a fun little place.
Yeah, I'm glad I found that place. That was the 26th?
That was the 26th. Woo, that was, we're gonna need another beer.
Yeah, please hold.
All right, back with another beer to talk about Dublin on the 27th.
So, the 27th, we got up, did we not have coffee? I don't know that we did. We had coffee in the room.
I think we had coffee in the room.
Great.
Yeah, because we bought coffee the previous day specifically so that we could have coffee in the room. Yeah, we made coffee.
Great. Okay. So we got up on the 27th. We made coffee for ourselves, and we headed out to go to the Guinness walking tour, which is something we booked through the Dublin Pass. So the tour itself was already paid for through the Dublin Pass. So all we paid for on the food tour was the food, and we got to choose what we wanted to have on the food tour. Lift your glasses, move your asses, do your walking while you're talking. No, do your talking while you're walking. So we went to 5 different places. There was a lot of history involved. which was really delightful. The tour guide Kevin was spectacular.
It was so much more than just a food tour. I mean, he really walked us in a circle of some sort. We did not end where we started though, so it wasn't a total circle.
True.
But yeah, so the first place was what he called he said it was like getting a Irish breakfast in a roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is all like street food.
Yeah.
So the food was all street food. It wasn't like, it wasn't fine dining in any way. So we started out with these rolls, and we got two different types of sausage rolls. One was a blood sausage and pear, and the other one was a bacon and Ballymaloe.
Here's a picture of it you could insert right here.
Insert picture. Yeah, it was really delicious. I remember that.
Good. Yeah, that was delicious. So we did that, and then we stopped at Albert's or Arthur's pub and had an Irish coffee and learned some more history, which was very cool.
Silence. Let no man write my epitaph, as no man knows my motives dare vindicate them. Let them and me lie in obscurity and peace, and let my tomb remain uninscribed until other times and better men can do justice to my character. When my country takes up place among the nations of this earth, then and only then let my epitaph be written.
So right, yeah, we and then after we left there, I think that's when we went through and he took us past like Guinness, and we went to the Guinness wall and walked a few other places, and he was just kind of giving us history as we were walking through.
The leaders, in particular Corey Pierce, James Connolly, started unions and workers' rights in Ireland.
Right when we get Guinness Brewery, took a really fabulous photo.
Right, a really good photo. Insert photo here.
Insert photo here.
Then he took us to the fish and chips place.
No, we went to the sandwich place first.
Oh, we went to the sandwich place first.
Yeah.
Okay.
The sandwiches were so bomb.
Yeah, it was. It's a take on grilled cheese.
They're toasties.
We split ours into 4, and another couple split theirs into 4 so that we could try 2 different types.
And that was a very good decision.
And that was a good decision. Yeah, that was really nice. Yeah, so we did that, and then
we went to the fish place.
And then we went to the fish place where we got the Kevin special.
Yep.
Which was just a small version of this giant thing that normally happens, which was perfect. Again.
Yep, it was very good.
We missed the curry dipping sauce, but
the curry sauce.
but the fish and chips were delicious. Like that was good fish and chips.
Yeah.
I forgot that I had those fish and chips.
And the vinegar was really good.
Yeah.
Whatever vinegar they used was spectacular.
What did he say was the reason why vinegar was started being added to?
Because it covered the taste of bad potatoes.
So that was something that started during the famine, right? That was, yeah.
And then we went to ice cream.
And then we went, right, the Dingle. The place that was, all the ice cream was made in Dingle.
Yeah, and they used Dingle sea salt and harvested their own sea salt.
Yeah, and we got a sea salt and a butterscotch. I remember the guy was like, good choice.
It was delicious. It was really good. So we did that, and then we'd eaten a lot of food. That was really fun.
That was really fun.
That guy's got a lot of energy. I don't know how you do that every day. I have a lot of energy.
That was a lot of talking.
Yeah.
A lot of information. And yeah. I think he loves it.
I think he loves it too.
He loves it. I
Yeah.
think. Yeah. Yeah, that was fun.
That was really fun. I'm really glad we did that.
That was tasty. And now I'm ready for some whiskey and beer. So, and at Teeling, I got a flight or whatever.
And I got a great cocktail.
And so I tried all the Teeling drinks, that was part of the flight, not the expensive flights, the reasonable price flights. And to be very clear, apparently the 21-year-old Teeling is older than Teeling is. So it's a mix of a 20-year from somebody else with their stuff. And they call it a 21-year, which I think is a little bit, weird. But we learned the story about Teeling, and we went to Guinness, and Kay's feet are sore.
My feet are sore.
We've been doing this for a long time.
It's okay. I'll suffer for fun.
At this point, it was getting a little later in the day. We were like towards the end of like the Guinness
3 o'clock.
timed entries. Was it 3 or 4? I think we went to Guinness. We went in. It's a little later in the day. We have some reviews of this place that we talked about while we were there. But the base of that is if you're gonna go earlier in the day. And also, everybody should do it, but we don't need to do it again.
It's really cool.
It's super cool.
It was, you know, it was fun to see all this stuff, but it was very crowded. The timed entry didn't really feel like it eased anything at the time that we went in. By the time we got to the very top, after 7 floors or 8 floors of stuff, you're not only are you, especially after walking all day and all this stuff, we were just kind of a little bit like, okay. And then there was no seats.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
I did watch someone steal a pint glass.
That's right. She did watch somebody steal a fake glass. They did decorations on top. We didn't see any of the the Guineas? Stouties. The Guineas. We didn't do a stoutie. We don't need our face on a beer. That just feels weird. A little narcissistic, maybe.
You say as we're talking to a camera about a trip we took.
Uh-huh. So yeah, I would not do this again, but I would definitely tell friends to do it.
Absolutely.
I would do the Jameson's tour again.
Yep.
With friends, but I wouldn't do it without friends.
I did. The people here are just
Yeah.
really lovely.
Yeah, I highly recommend the people here. That's for sure.
The food's good. The food's good. And the bar seat is on point.
But so when we were at Teeling, the bartender heard that we were going to the Guinness tour. And he told us about a place that had better Guinness than the Guinness Storehouse. And so while we're at the Guinness and we're like, okay, let's finish these beers, which came with the tour. We were then like, let's get out of here. Actually, the phrase is,
We need to get us out of here.
get us out of here. Mm-hmm.
It's packed and crowded. We have to go. We have to get us out of here.
We got to get us out of here. So we got out of there and headed for Row & Co., where not only did we get to sit, but we got to drink more Guinness, which was closer to the actual Guinness manufacturing place than the Storehouse.
Yep. You can see the tanks from Row & Co.
From Row & Co. But also Row & Co. is a distillery. So we did another whiskey tasting.
He did another whiskey tasting. I drank Guinness.
I did another whiskey tasting. It was delicious.
Yeah, that place was really nice. We had some good chats with the staff.
Yeah, and they had...
The bathrooms were amazing.
Some really nice bathrooms. They had like this kind of Da Vinci style menu where it was like plans drawn out with like words and stuff.
That, and then one of us might have been a little more drunk than the other one of us. Uh-huh. We needed food, so we left. It was dark, it was sprinkly, and we just went on a wander for quite a while. Well, we were actually trying to get to the Cobblestones, kind of, which was a place that had been recommended to us for live music.
Right, that place was recommended for live music, but at the Row & Co., they also recommended a street, which is right next to where we were staying.
Yeah.
Which they said would probably have food and stuff like that.
Yep.
And so we thought that they were close enough, and we started to wander. We didn't take the direct route in any way, shape, or form.
No.
We ended up in a weird plaza that had like a generator, which we giggled about. I remember that.
Yeah, the generator. It had a rooftop bar, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. There was like all this stuff going on. We found a place called Delaney's, and we walked by the Cobblestone.
Yes, and it was very full.
And it was very full. We found a teapot that was like blender inspired. It was like all like, you know, cubed out.
Yep.
Or something like that, wadded out. But we were so hungry at this point. So then we found that street, and on that street we found Black Sheep. At that place, it was actually a brewery.
It was a nice pub. It seemed like a really good local.
Also a little punk rock, but also not so punk rock. It was punk rock in the same way that Twilight in Seattle is punk rock.
Yeah.
Where it's, you know, like it's a little punk rock, but not enough that other people can't go there.
Yeah.
So we went back and we repacked stuff. Somewhat. You have a word for the explosion that happens.
Yard sale?
The yard sale of all the things that we'd bought and put together before because the next day we're going to Spain.
Right.
And then you were like, we should go have one more beer.
I did say that.
So we did. We went back to Slattery's and had another Guinness. And then went home and tried to sleep.
Yeah, tried.
We
got up at 5:30 in the morning to get to the airport to go to Spain.
Yeah, which I don't regret. But also next time, let's see if we can't get that a little bit earlier or a little bit later. Well, earlier as in like maybe before we go to sleep. I would highly recommend doing Dublin. Flying from Seattle to Dublin is very easy right now and relatively inexpensive. So we decided to spend 2 days there kind of like recovering from the 9-hour flight. And it was absolutely worth it. And I think anytime we do that, we will probably spend a day or two in Dublin on our way to whatever we're doing.
I think so too.
There's a lot to do there, and we touched the surface of it, and I want to do it again.
Yep. Same. 5 stars.
18 stars out of 18 stars. That's 18 stars going across the screen right now.
I got it.
Yeah, you got that? Yeah, you got that? Okay. Yeah, but we'll talk about Spain in the next video.
Great.
On a different video. On a different time.
Great. We'll drink vermouth that time.
Ooh, let's go find vermouth. Mm.
Okay.